I'm Pennywise the Dancing Clown, and today I'm here with a video. Yes, I did do my makeup, and I also am wearing my It shirt, which you can't really see, but it says, showed it in my last haul, if you want to watch that. Today I'm doing movie versus book It by Stephen King edition. I'll probably end up doing these a lot because I had a lot of fun writing like all my thoughts down. It was so much fun. I love both the movie and the book despite their differences. I love them both in different ways, and I'm just gonna get into like what I liked about it, what I disliked about it, changes that were made, and how I feel about them. Okay, so the first thing that I noticed is it says 1989, and I understand it's like, okay, people watching the movie now wouldn't have known what 1958 like was. Most people were not alive in 1958 that will be watching the movie. I understand, but like 1989, excuse me, they didn't even do it like 1985 where like the second thing is in the book, like when they go back as adults. If they would have done that and then done 27 years later after that, I would have been more okay. But I feel like 1989 just seemed like a really random, like I guess it's not random, but it was just an odd number to use, and I didn't like it. I wouldn't say it affected the movie a whole lot, but I feel like it wouldn't have been that hard for them to just do the actual year. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the 7 losers and my thoughts on them in the movie versus the book. I'm going to start with Bill. So Bill in the book was like pretty cool, you know, like he's a cool dude. He seemed more of the leader. He seemed to have more influence over the rest of them than he did in the movie. In the movie, they were kind of like not necessarily listening to him all the time. And one of his things in the book was that they like all listened to him. He did, they did, what he said, they agreed with. That was kind of it. And I felt like that was a big part of his character in the book. Just that he seemed the most adult of them. And he still seemed more like adult-like than the rest in the movie, but he didn't have that influence that was very like prominent in the book. Richie. Okay, Richie in the book is my favorite. In the movie, I felt bad for him. So he was super duper funny. He had good ways of like adding in humor when it was like scary. He definitely made the rest of them happier, like also in the book. But I felt bad for him because they left him out all the time. They'd be like, yo, Richie, you can sit out here while we go into Beverly's house and clean her bathroom. You can just sit out here and watch for people. Like, rude. That's so mean. He was like, really? They're like, fine. So he's just sitting out there alone. And then as they're like wiping off the bathroom and stuff, it has this montage of them doing that. And you can guess that it took a while to do that because the whole bathroom was covered in blood. I also loved his glasses. They were adorable, and like he's so cute. Richie is great. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about Eddie. I think Eddie was my favorite character in the movie. He is my second favorite character in the book. I think they added a lot of humor to his character and his personality, which was really awesome. And I really, really loved when he's like yelling at his mom, and he's trying to tell her that his asthma stuff is a placebo, but he calls it a gazebo when he's yelling at her, and then he just like marches off. And okay, there was one thing I was confused about then. I don't remember if it's this way in the book, but I feel like it wasn't. I don't remember him being the new kid. And I never ever like thought that he was that in the book. And then I watched the movie, and he was like right away, that was his like first day. And then I was watching part of the old miniseries, and he was the new kid in that one too. And I'm just like, I felt like they made him overly like smarty pants type, where like he was supposed to be more like an architect thing and like super smart in that way, but they kind of made him like historically smart, which isn't like a bad thing, but I felt like that would have been more Mike's personality. But the whole thing with his room, and he had like all the pictures and all the stuff, was like it was kind of cool, but at the same time, like, I just didn't feel like that's his real personality. And like, although it didn't like change like what happened really or like anything, me and reading the book first, it just felt really weird. Stan was, okay, I take that back. You know when I said Eddie was my favorite in the movie? Stan's my favorite in the movie. Well, they're kind of very close. Like, I would say they're tied, but Stan was so awesome. I think that he had more like parts in the movie than he did in the book. In the book, he's kind of just there. Like, he says stuff, he does stuff, but he doesn't really have like an important part really. In the movie, I felt like he was there so much more, and he was funny at times, but in like his like weird way. And he was just so much more involved. And Wyatt, the actor that plays him, is my bae, Beverly. So Beverly in the book and in the movie like wasn't my favorite. I wasn't getting as much like angst from her that I saw in the book. Then like she should have had more in the movie. She got some more towards the end, but at the beginning she was kind of just like really pretty girl and everyone was like mean to her. But I didn't see as much angst and like anger and just like doesn't care at all type attitude. And I don't know if I would say that I disliked or liked her character more in either the book or the movie. I would say I liked them about the same, but I felt like she just wasn't quite right. And finally, Mike, I don't really have any problems with him. Like, in the book is very like smart. Like, you can tell he's very smart and he knows a lot of the history and he's helping them try to figure it out because his parents know a lot about like the history and they have like photo albums and things that really end up helping them. It kind of became Stan in the books where he was there but not really that involved, and I really wish he would have been, because even in the books he was involved but not that involved. He became even less involved, I felt like, and I don't know, I wish he was more like there, I guess. I have like 3 pages of lists that I can just like go off, so I'll just like kind of read off and then talk about them a little bit. This might be a really long video, so sorry in advance. Starting for spoilers, you've probably already been spoiled a little bit if you've gotten this far, but honestly, this is where it's going to get more like spoilery for the book and the movie. So if you have not watched or read either of those, then you might want to leave now and come back once you have. Actually, first, I'm going to talk about their first like experiences with it, because most of them were very inaccurate and I was very annoyed by that, and it ended up making things very different in the end. So Bill in the movie saw Georgie and Pennywise in the cellar and he thought that Georgie was like actually there and alive. In the book, he opens Georgie's old like photograph book and Georgie's picture winks at him. And then when he like throws it across the room, blood starts coming out of it. So I felt that like it was a very unnecessary change, which I understand. It did make the whole movie like scarier. Like, most of these differences probably made them scarier, and I would say that they did. But they changed the story so much. Like, without doing the photograph thing, it changed a lot. It changes the fact that Richie and Bill would go back to Bill's house, look at the photograph, end up putting their hand inside the photograph, getting like Bill's hand getting cut, and then them ending up going to Neighborhood Street and getting chased there by the werewolf or Pennywise in Bill's eyes. That whole thing didn't happen just because his first experience with it didn't happen. Like, it was wrong. So with Ben, his first thing was in the library. He like was reading about the dairy history and ended up going down into like the bottom floor of the library and getting chased by Pennywise, which I think didn't bother me because in the book he sees Pennywise like while he's on the bridge and like under, it's kind of like under far away from it. It wasn't like that scary, it wasn't like that significant, like it was there and it was his first thing in the book. I felt that the change with Under the Library was fine. It didn't really bother me, and like I said, it did add some more like scary things, which honestly I liked that change. Like, it was fine. Stan's change, was weird. Dan in the movie sees this woman in a painting, and then the woman disappears, and then the woman becomes like huge out of the painting and like kind of chases him. That woman stays in for the whole movie. And his thing was he was walking and he was like bird watching, and which he doesn't really do in the movie at all. He does not with his bird watching at all. But he walks into this thing and there's like dead kids talking to him and stuff. Honestly, I could be getting that semi-wrong, but that's what I remember, and I'm really lazy to go try and find where that actually happens. So I felt that it wasn't necessary to change it, but it didn't really change anything later on. It added some stuff, but it didn't like completely change anything, in which like Bill's really changed a lot of stuff. So it was an okay change, but I really would have liked the original thing in the book better. Mike's bothered me. Okay, so first of all, in the movie, Mike says his parents died in a fire. In the book, his parents are not dead, they're alive. So, I don't know. I feel like that was also an unnecessary change. And it also like took away the fact that Mike couldn't show them like the photographs his dad had with like Pennywise and like stuff in them. So his first thing was he was in an alley, and then like this door opened, or like started kind of like a little bit opening. It was like chained shut, and then like hands, like gross hands came out of it, and it looked like they were trying to get out from a fire. So it made sense that that was like his fear because his parents died in a fire in the movie, but that didn't really go along with the book. So I don't know. It didn't really change like a whole lot like Bill's did, but I still felt that the other one would have been better, which was he was chased by this like gigantic bird and had to like go through this like thing to get away from it. So Richie didn't have one in the book, but I also liked that he was scared of clowns in the movie. It was like an extra like funny thing, and it was able to add like some more like scary things because he was scared of clowns. So Beverly's and Eddie's were correct. Beverly's seemed like a lot of blood. For hers, blood comes out of the sink, and that seemed like so much blood. It was like everywhere. When I imagine it like splattering a lot and like covering a lot. But I did not imagine it covering the entire bathroom. Like there was not one spot where you could be like, oh, there's no blood there. Nope, it was all blood. And in the old movie, there's not that much blood at all, just like a little bit. Another thing with the bathroom scene, the way they were all like cleaning really matched their personality. Where Stan had like a sponge thing, was just going in like straight lines on the window, and like I don't know, just like all the way they were all cleaning really just matched their personality, and I liked that like little almost random added touch. Eddie's was pretty correct, like really correct, honestly. And the leper thing was creepy and gross, and I was like, they did a good job with that. I was supposed to know that Georgie was dead like right away. Georgie was supposed to be like on the street with his arm off, you know, all dead. But then like he was literally just pulled into the sewer and gone. Bill was like, no, he's not dead, Georgie's not dead, Georgie's not dead. But he was dead, and he should have known that. Like in the book, he knows that. I thought they did that scene very well. Georgie's death was done very well. The actor that played Georgie did such a good job for being so young. I was like, yes, yes. I did not like the Bill and Beverly like cute moments. They are like 13 or 14 in the movie, and they are supposed to be, they are 11 and 12 in the book. So I understand why they changed that, because like 11 and 12-year-olds wouldn't really be watching it, and it'd just be more relatable if it was like 14-year-olds. So I understand that, and I honestly am not really bothered by that, but it gave them the chance to add more like cute romance moments with the characters, especially Bill and Beverly. So Bill and Bev, I do not ship them. I love Ben and Beverly together way more, like way more. Ben is so cute, and he like actually really likes her, and like, I don't know, they would have been cuter together in my opinion. Okay, what I noticed was they never really went to the Barrens. The Barrens is super important in the book. They were always at the Barrens. They built like an underground clubhouse thing in the Barrens, and they built a dam in the Barrens, which is how they met Ben, and like they didn't really do any of those things. And then they also didn't make the smoke hole thing and end up having the vision about like its like beginning and like birth, I guess. They never made like the silver slugs, the things to try to kill it, and they never like went into Neibolt Street altogether and like used the silver slugs in a slingshot to try and kill it. So I was really sad that they missed that, because I really liked that scene in the book. I liked how Beverly like was about to shoot it with nothing, but since they all believed that she had something, it got scared and like ran away. And just like the first time that it got scared was kind of like a cool moment, and I just felt like really sad that that was missing. One time when they're like, oh, we gotta go help Mike, they all just leave their bikes in the road, and I'm like, what are you doing? Your bikes are gonna get run over. Like, don't you feel more about Silver, Bill? Also, with Silver, he never, at least I didn't hear it, like, I guess I could have missed it, but he never did the "Ayo, Silver away, ayo, Silver away." I don't know how you like say it. That was like a key thing with Silver, and like Silver wasn't even that like important. Like, it could have been more important and should have been more important. The things that I didn't like really was that there was no like main form of it as the spider. They missed a whole chunk of stuff with that. There was no like the ritual thing. There was no turtle. I did notice they did reference the turtle though a little bit. When Bill went into Georgie's room, there was like this turtle Lego thing, and when they were swimming, they saw turtles at the bottom. So it might be like in the second one and just kind of like referenced in the first one because they didn't feel like adding it or something. But like, I don't know, I was kind of disappointed. And the whole like spider thing, like literally their battle at the end was just with Pennywise. And well, I guess it like changed a little bit, but it was never the spider. They didn't really go on like their whole sewer trip where like they went into the sewer and they encountered like some other things, like the huge eyeball, and it kind of was really disappointing that like there wasn't that much, which I understand why they had to cut a lot of things. I really do, because it was already like a 2-hour and 15-minute movie without everything in it. But there were some things that they could have taken out or like could have shortened, and like, I don't know. I would have watched it if it was a 3-hour movie. I really would have, but I understand that other people wouldn't. So the way Eddie broke his arm and that whole scene on Neibolt Street, that was not in the book, but I feel like it probably would have replaced the thing where they use the silver slugs. Okay, one other thing that I felt like was missing a little bit. Richie did not do his voices enough. I really wanted to see more of his voices. He did a couple of them sometimes, but he didn't really do a lot of them. And I noticed in the old miniseries, he does them quite a bit more, and he like does, I don't know, the old miniseries is a lot more accurate if you actually watch it, but the acting is not as great, but it's really accurate. So things I really liked. The Pennywise was super creepy. If you watch the old miniseries, he looks like super happy and like all the time. And I really did think that they did a really good job with Bill Skarsgård's makeup and things, and he got kind of progressively creepier as it went on. The Ben and Bev kiss at the end when she was like possessed, the possessed thing was weird. I didn't really like that either, but that was like equally cute and funny, where he was like, oh, I know, and he just like kisses her. The New Kids on the Block thing with Ben and Beverly was cute, like her little like making fun of him but not really like teasing him, and then like on the back of his door where she like saw it but then she shut it because she didn't want him to be made fun of by the other kids. I really do like them, like wish they would work together, and like they're just a lot cuter than Bill and Beverly in my opinion. The projector scene where it's like flipping, you know, and then it's like Pennywise holding onto Georgie's hand, and then like Pennywise comes out of the thing, was like a good added scene. Honestly, I thought it added quite a bit. Since they took some things out, they really needed one thing that really like showed their fear of Pennywise more, just it in general. And that was that thing, and I really liked it. And really, honestly, I don't really have anything else to say. If I were to rate the movie out of 5 stars, I would say 4.5 stars, and I rate the book the same. So I like them about like the same amount, but just in different ways. Hopefully chapter 2 is a little bit more accurate, but just as good, hopefully. And I'm really excited for it to come out. And if you have read it, watched the movie, both, let me know in the comments like what your favorite parts were or like anything like that.